Across sub-Saharan Africa, there is about to be a widespread epidemic of childhood blindness. Its impact will be devastating for the children affected, their families, and their communities. It's a multi-generational crisis in the making. The good news is, it's almost entirely preventable.
For the life of a child, no matter where you are in the world, living with a vision impairment changes your life, changes your dreams, changes your opportunities.
In this part of the world, there's not much social structure to support them. So it's a very difficult life to live, a blind life.
And society tends to reject them in a place like this.
So for those who are blind in developing countries, the outlook is not very good.
In countries across sub-Saharan Africa, the survival rate for premature infants is better than it has ever been, thanks to neonatal intensive care units, or NICUs, being built across the region. But many surviving babies now face other challenges, including a condition known as retinopathy of prematurity, or ROP, which can lead to a lifetime of blindness.
There are more and more neonatal intensive care units opening up every year in Africa, and when you add more, you'll add more of these babies.
It is increasing every day. We are getting much more babies surviving, and now ROP has become a big problem.
I'm sure within the next 5 years, there'll be an explosion of babies who are developing ROP if we are not careful.
There's a great deal of emphasis going into retinopathy of prematurity because of what we've learned around the world in places that have more developed NICUs. And seeing Africa develop its NICUs, we realize what's coming.
The SIBA project is a partnership between the International Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus Council, IPOSC, and the Children's Eye Foundation of APOS, the American Association for Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus. SIBA's goal is to head off this impending crisis by supplying NICUs with some very basic tools needed to properly regulate oxygen.
When you give excess amount of oxygen to what is necessary, there are substances in the body produced that can lead to injury, such as retinopathy and blindness.
There's a specific level at which you should keep the oxygen level that will not allow ROP to develop.
So one of the lowest hanging fruits to make a difference in the vision outcomes and save vision is to provide oxygen support in a controlled, appropriate way.
It really falls into two areas. One is an oxygen blender, so we know exactly how much oxygen the baby is receiving. And then there's a thing called an oxygen sensor that we put on the baby's leg or the baby's finger, and that'll tell us what percentage is getting into the baby.
Once you control the oxygen, then you reduce the prevalence of the ROP. Unfortunately, in this part of the world, some of the things to use to regulate how much oxygen we give to the babies are not available.
The plan is to start off by having 3 of these centers of focus where we hope to give them the equipment they need and also to give them training.
Once we have those 3 centers up and running, our second phase is going to be the ability to send out equipment and training through other neonatal intensive care units throughout sub-Saharan Africa.
Eventually, we hope that we can provide assistance to every NICU that wants help in sub-Saharan Africa.
An oxygen blender and oxygen sensor together cost less than $2,000 and can be used over and over to preserve sight for hundreds and hundreds of babies.
It's sort of exciting to think that you can make such a big difference with such a small investment of money.
If we don't act, we're projecting that over the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be thousands and thousands of babies going blind from this disease. It's really important just to hop on this as fast as we can. We could have this epidemic stopped to a large extent within 3 years.
It's quite exciting. The SIBA project is coming to help us stop blindness in these infants. And being part of that really empowers me.
It's not an impossible dream to consider that most NICUs in Africa would have this ability in a rather short period of time. We just need to raise awareness and show them the outcome that we've seen time and time again all around the rest of the world and equip them.
I think it's something that's really caught the attention of pediatric ophthalmologists throughout the world. They're very passionate about this and they all want to help. We're all putting our resources into this, and together we can be successful.